Hello and welcome to 7Games TV. Today with a special for all real-time strategy fans. These are our themes for today. Today at 7Games TV we took some strategy titles under the magnifying glass. Before the release of the Xbox 360 version of Universe at War, we show you whether the strategy hit has potential for a top game. Also on screen today, Red Alert 3 is in the starting blocks. We show you which secrets are already disclosed, and Lost Planet gets an add-on. In Universe at War, Earth Assault, there are 3 camps who fight about our planet. If this game is able to hold a candle to all Command and Conquers and Starcrafts, we'll show you now. We write in the year 2012. Mankind attempts with his last strength to repel an extraterrestrial invasion. Nasty aliens, army formations, we know this already from hundreds of other games. The trick with Universe at War is, however, that you take over the control of the people only during the tutorials. The actual stars of the game are indeed in the 3 different alien factions, which clearly differ in technology and handling.
Well, we have 3 very unique factions that you're going to be playing with in Universe at War. Our first one is the Hierarchy. That's the big, kind of heavy, walking alien invader force that's here to pretty much just harvest everything from the planet. They use these giant war machines we call walkers. They stomp around the map, up and down terrain, through water, cliffs. It doesn't matter, nothing stands in their way.
The enemies of the Hierarchy are the so-called Novos. That is a race of mechanical beings whose creators were killed by the Hierarchy once already. Understandably, the Sheetheads are mad for destroying the assassinating aliens once and for all.
We drew a lot of inspiration from the iPod, from the movie iRobot. At first, they were very humanoid because the story of the Novus evolved, and they were at one point the race that was left over in the future from mankind. But as the story progressed, they became their own race from point A to point B just by running or flying. They could build these towers and they could flow through them. The Novus can basically break themselves down, travel as energy, cross the lines, and then reconstitute themselves on the other side.
Third in the round is finally the nation of the Masari. Supposedly these extraterrestrials are supposed to be god-equal beings. After all, they look already like this. The Masari are dragged into the war between the Hierarchy and the Novus, and so they do not really like any of the 2 parties. You can also play them most conventionally from all 3 factions. But of course, they also have an important special feature. They can choose between the light and the darkness, which influences their combat values. That turns them into an opponent that should not be underestimated. Regardless of which faction you just command over, the objective does not change. Playing skillfully with your units allows you to think about the tactics that promise success and bomb the opponent back into the digital Stone Age. It does not go on so chaotically during all the war because the number of the visible units on the screen is restricted. You do not have to practice the micromanagement in Universe at War as excessively as in many other games. That means that also genre newcomers will quickly earn their spores on the battlefield with a little practice. Technically there's not much to criticize. The decently satirically meant science fiction flair can also be pleasing. However, Universe at War does unfortunately have a clear weak point, and that is the flat single-player mode. If you fight alone against the computer opponent, the essential technology tree is missing. Instead of fiddling about your units, the available troops are simply preset. That makes the meta much too simply and little. Solo players will be disappointed because it is the most fun to play Universe at War in the multiplayer mode against other human players. Below the line, Universe at War can convince absolutely anyone, even if it does not really invent the genre. With a little more fine-tuning, our evaluation would have been higher. Fans of the genre can risk a test game in any case. Unfortunately, we have to wait some time until we can finally play Red Alert 3. Which games are playable now? And which games will be in store soon? I'll show you now.